Hey there, welcome to Treadmill Review Guru. Today we're going to take a comparative look at two of the most popular treadmills on the market. So we have the Sole F80 and ProForm's Pro 2000. These are both priced very comparatively with each other, usually within around $100. They're just a mid-grade all-around treadmill, so good for walking, jogging, a little bit of running. They both have a good incline variability and a nice horsepower motor. So let's dive in closer and take a look at the specs and the features and how they compare. All right, so let's take a close look at the construction of both machines and how they compare. So first of all, the footprint. The Sole F80 is a slightly larger machine. Because it has the tablet holder, it's about 65 inches high. It's 37 inches wide and it's 82 inches long. So the Sole treadmills tend to be a little longer than comparable machines, even if they have the exact same walking surface. So that's just something to be aware of. The footprint on the ProForm, it's much lower. So it's only 59 inches high, it's 35 inches wide, and about 72 inches long. So it's a full 10 inches shorter, which is significant. Both of them fold up, however, so you can fold that deck up. It collapses down to about 44 inches long on both sides once they're folded. So that's just something to be aware of. You don't always have to have that down. Motor size. So the motor on the Sole F80 is a 3.5 horsepower motor. On the Pro 2000, you've got a 3.25 horsepower motor. That 0.25, you're not really gonna notice it, right? We always recommend looking for a treadmill that has the largest motor possible, simply because more motor power means more longevity. It can support longer training, multiple users in your home. So that is something that we really do recommend looking at when you're buying a treadmill, is make sure and take a look at the motor power. However, 0.25 between these two machines, you're not really gonna notice unless you're like training for a marathon or something. Another significant difference is the Sole F80 inclines to a 15% grade. So you get quite a bit of incline there, but then it does not decline. The ProForm Pro 2000 does incline to 12%, but then it also declines to a -3. So you do get a little bit of a decline here, and ultimately the variability is the same. So that's something else to be aware of. The Sole F80 does have cushioning in the deck. Now on Sole's website, they claim that the cushioning reduces impact by like 40% compared to outdoor surfaces. We don't feel quite that much cushioning, but it is cushioned. I mean, it's definitely better than running outdoors. There is a little bit of travel under that deck, so it does provide some cushioning. The ProForm Pro has the rebound cushioning. I would say it has a little bit more give as you run on it, and we'll demo that in a minute. So you probably got just a touch more cushioning on the ProForm. The walking belt, the size is the same. They're both 60 inches long. ProForm 2000 is 20 inches wide and the Sole F80 is 22 inches wide. So you get about 2 inches more lateral width on the Sole F80. The weight capacity. So this machine only weighs about 220 pounds, which makes it easy to lift and move. Folding up the deck is really pretty easy. It does have wheels underneath, and it will support up to 300 pounds on the ProForm 2000. The Sole F80 is a little heavier. It weighs about 280 pounds, but it will support up to 375 pounds. So this machine actually we would recommend for larger users because that weight capacity is actually really impressive. Even some of the high-end incline trainers, the Nordic Track X32i or X22i, they will still only support 300 pounds of user weight. So you're getting a lot of weight capacity on the Sole F80. So we really like that about Sole. The biggest differences you're gonna find are gonna be in the console and the overall functionality of the machine. So we'll jump into that a little bit more in just a second, but the ProForm Pro does require Wi-Fi. So in order to be able to access the iFit programs and content, you have to have an active Wi-Fi signal. If you don't, none of the programs are actually downloaded, they're streaming. And so you need to be able to do that. You can only use manual mode without Wi-Fi. The Sole does not require Wi-Fi. You gotta plug them both in, but once you've plugged this one in, you can put it in a basement, an upstairs room, a garage, and you don't need internet access. So that's something else to be aware of. So let's take a closer look at the console and the overall functionality. All right, so here we have the ProForm Pro 2000 console. One thing I really like about the ProForm machines is the way that they have simplified and streamlined the console. It's very clean and it doesn't feel cluttered. So as you can see, you've got the touchscreen in the middle, and then down under here, you have your quick control buttons. There is one button for every metric. So for your grade, you can go all the way up with each button and then all the way down. And then the speed is the same. So you can quickly touch your speed or your incline right here and jump where you want to go. You also have manual buttons that are down on the lower panel that will incline you by 0.5, and you can do a tenth using the speed. So it'll give you like 6.1 miles an hour, 6.2 miles an hour, that sort of thing. So down here, this is your lower console, and you just have fan, volume, start, stop, and your speed. So it's very simple. It is Bluetooth enabled, so it will sync with wireless headphones. It will sync with a chest strap. You can even sync your phone and play your music through the speakers. The fan is a little loud, but it is nice to have it, and it's right down here chest height. So it provides nice airflow when it's on, and you have 3 different settings. All right, so here we have the Soul F80 console, and you can see it's just a little, I don't want to say simpler, but you've got your LCD screen and you just have a digital display. None of these metrics moves or changes, so they're always there. That's what they show you. I do like the numbers in the middle. That's your time elapsed. So I like that that's right there and easy to see. Your incline distance, speed, and calories is also there. And then it'll tell you your laps and stuff down here. So right here, these are your user programs. It only comes preloaded with 10 programs. So you just hit the button, and each time you hit that button, it's gonna bring up the exact same program. So it's not like it'll bring up 3 different strength options. You just get 1 program per button. And then here's your manual incline and decline. So if I want to manually adjust the incline or decline, I can do that there. Now a difference on this one, you don't get a 0.5 option. So it won't go from 3 to 3.5. It just goes from 3 to 4 to 5. So you only have those whole incline adjustments. Speed, however, will adjust by just a tenth, just like it does on the Pro 2000. So that is something that's similar. Unlike the Pro 2000 console, where it's really been streamlined and all of these features are embedded in the touchscreen, this is all out, and these are tactile buttons. Some people love the tactile buttons because it's actually a button that you can press and it's responsive, which is nice. They're more likely to get dusty, sticky, dirty, things like that. That's something to be aware of. It's a little harder to keep it clean. And then down here, this is flat, which I like, but it doesn't include a touch button for every one or even every other one. It kind of jumps a little. So for incline, you have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, and 15. And then if you want to get those intermediate levels, you either have to adjust your incline here, or they do have buttons on the handrail. So that's something else. And then speed is the same. So speed, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 12. And then to find that intermediate speed, you have to use the speed buttons. One thing to be aware of, so let's say I'm at 5 miles an hour and I want to go to 6 miles an hour. I have to hit this button to get me to 6 miles an hour. Like it doesn't just jump there. Whether I hit the handrail one or whether I hit the one up here, there's no way to quickly jump to an intermediate metric in between one of those preset numbers. So that makes it just a little clunky sometimes when you're trying to get in between intervals really quick. If you do HIIT training or something, it might be a little limited. But one thing that is good about this is this machine, the Soul F80, will sync with Zwift. And Zwift is an app that's used by runners a lot of times. So it will sync with Zwift. You can put it on your phone or your tablet up in the tablet holder, and you do have that functionality as well. It also comes with a chest strap. So that's included in every purchase. I don't necessarily love the whole front of it is kind of plastic. It's a little stiff, but it does come with it, and that's really nice. It also does have speakers. You've got speakers up here, and your fan is up here. Now the fan is slightly adjustable, but for me, regardless of where I pivot it, it's still kind of above my head, and it doesn't have a ton. There's just on or off. So there's on and there's off. So it has a fan. It's not quite as functional as the Pro 2000. But I do like the fact that you could put a tablet or a book here. You can put a tablet up there. It has storage pockets on the side, and it also has the nice storage tray down underneath. All right, so let's kind of look at the functionality and the noise output and stuff like that, comparing the two machines. So as you can see, I have the Soul F80 running. It's running at 2 miles an hour, and the deck is just nice and level, so I haven't inclined it at all. So if you listen, there's very little motor noise. Sole machines are extremely quiet. That is something that I will always give them props for. They're very quiet. Now, if I take that, I'm gonna leave the speed where it is, but I'm gonna incline it. Just listen to how quiet it is as I'm inclining. I mean, literally, there's like no noise. I was on it once and I was testing it out, and I actually had to get off the machine and look at the side of it to make sure it was actually inclining because it is so quiet. So I'm gonna raise it up to a level 12, so it will be the same as the ProForm, which we'll look at in a second. So you can see it's smooth, quiet. All right, so there it's fully inclined. So you can tell there's very little motor noise. Now, as I get on it and walk, you're gonna hear a little bit of swooshing sound as the belt contacts the top of the deck. That's very normal, it happens on every machine. But there's very little foot noise, and there's very little motor noise. So as I mentioned, sole machines are consistently extremely quiet. If you're looking for something quiet, this is a great option. All right, so let's compare with the Pro 2000. So right now I have the Pro 2000 and it's going at 1 mile an hour. So I'm gonna turn it up to 2 miles an hour. And you can hear that one's really quiet too. When it's just running, you're not gonna hear very much motor noise at all. The motor is very quiet. The inclining is a little noisier on this one. So I'm gonna stand up on the belt. There's that slight whooshing sound. It happens on every machine. All right, but listen as I incline. Actually, I'll stand off it because I did that on the sole. So let me. So you can see there's just a little more motor noise as it inclines. It's not loud, but it's noticeable. So I'm going to take it up to a level 12 incline, which is the same that I had the sole at. And then I'll walk on it real quick. So there you go, there's your full incline. As I stand up here and start to walk, you don't have very much noise. So really the only noise difference that I noticed between the two machines is the incline decline. It's a little noisier on the Pro 2000. But once I'm up here, once again, walking at 2 miles an hour, I'm at a 12% grade. It really is pretty quiet. So I'm going to run real quick, and I just want you to look at the travel under that deck, and then I'll go over and do the same thing on the sole machine. So let's do like 6 miles an hour. All right, so back on the sole machine, I have it inclined to a level 12. Right now I'm walking at 2 miles an hour, so I'm gonna run again at 6 miles an hour and just kind of listen. So you can just kind of hear there's really not very much noise. I'm going to drop it back down. And you have just a little bit of give underneath, but I want to say you got a little bit more cushion on the Pro 2000. So as I mentioned, both decks fold. So let's take a look at the difference. Now, the sole deck is longer because it's 82 inches long and it's just a little hardier. It's a little heavier to lift. So if I come down here, you do have a grab bar down underneath and you just grab and lift, okay? It has hydraulic support, but I wanna say it's just a little bit heavier. The nice thing is you've got 4 wheels underneath the sole machine. So once it's folded, it's really easy to roll. We move a lot of machines in here. I have to pull them in and out and move them all over, and the soles are always the easiest once they're folded to just kind of move around. So let's compare the Pro 2000. I also have a grab bar underneath. It's a little bit easier to lift, and then it also rolls into place. but it doesn't roll quite as easy. So just a few things to be aware of, and there you can see the footprint of them both when they're folded up. So as you can see, both of these treadmills have a lot of features, and the one that's right for you will be dependent on which thing you're looking for. So if you want a subscription with a built-in touchscreen, then the ProForm Pro is the way to go. If you want something simple that does not require a subscription, has 10 programs you can just jump on and go, and doesn't require Wi-Fi, then the Sole F80 is the better model for you. The ProForm has a slightly more compact footprint, but they both fold up. This one inclines to 12% and declines to 3%, and this one just inclines to 15%. So you got a lot of really good options on either machine. To read a full written review, make sure and check us out at treadmillreviewguru.com. For current pricing for both machines, click the links below. And as always, if you liked our video, make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. My name's Kristen, and we will see you again soon.